Hi everyone, it's Irit with another process video, and today I'm playing with the August Hip Kit. It has a lot of fun stuff, and I actually didn't use a lot of product on the page, at least for me, because I played a bit with paint and gelatos and all kinds of fun stuff. So I think actually if you really want to stretch your kits, I think mixed media is a great way because you can get a lot of detail with just a few paints and gesso, and you don't need a lot of product. So especially when there's like so many embellishments, then you can make so many pages from one kit. So you know how certain layouts just come together and like really effortlessly. Well, this was not the case, and that's why the video is, I think, almost 17 minutes long, because this was a difficult birth. The background was actually the fun and easy part. I chose one of the pattern papers from the kit. I think this one is from Pebbles, and I wasn't sure which side I was going to use, and eventually decided to go with this white paper with black words written all over it. I really like using this type of paper with gesso and paint because usually I apply a very thin layer of gesso, and then you can still see the pattern in the back, but I also need a pattern that is small and repetitive so it doesn't get too busy. So I apply gesso with a palette knife. I think this is for me, this is the best and fastest way. And when you apply a very thin layer, and I think you can see on the video that the pattern shows through, so this is a very thin layer, it dries really fast. So that's also nice because I don't like waiting. And another option, there is a thing that is clear gesso. So that's a really great like medium to use when you want the pattern to completely show through, but you still want to like prime your paper before you add water and paint and all that stuff. So I started with just adding some gelatos and just playing around with gelatos. I find that they really need a little bit or a lot, but they need some water to look nice. Otherwise it looks a bit of a mess, at least on my pages. And I sometimes use spray bottle when I make a background with gelatos on watercolor paper. I really like to use a spray bottle or a bit sturdier paper, but pattern paper is it's sturdy for a layout, but it can't take as much water as mixed media paper or watercolor paper, so I don't use a lot. You could use a wet wipe also to like spread the gelatos around, but they can pick up some of the color, so you would get like a more subtle effect. And what I think used eventually on most of the page is that I drew with the gelatos on some packaging and then added a little bit of water and applied the gelato with the packaging to my page, and that creates a great look. And I wanted a more layered look and just a bit of variety, I guess. So I also used a little bit of acrylic paint. I used the Dina heavy body acrylic paints, and in lime and turquoise. I love those colors, and you really need a very small amount if you're doing this look, which is kind of, I guess, a watercolor look. So you just need to add a little bit water and a very small amount of paint, because the paint is intense, and yeah, so you don't need a lot. And yeah, then I decided the background needed a little bit more, but before that I see that I decided like to mat my photo on some pattern paper, and I just went with some like lighter patterns that have some color and white in them, and I really like this like triangular pattern with the lime color. I think that's Studio Calico, and it really matched the background nicely. So then I decided the background needed a little bit more of something, and yeah, I thought some circles would fit nicely. And I have a stencil. This is one of the most used stencils. I think it's a Crafter Workshop stencil, and it's a 12 by 12 one, and it has circles in different sizes. And I used again some acrylic paint, Dina Wakley. This is the magenta, and I used a very small amount because I wanted it to be a little bit like transparent. I wanted the background to show a little bit, so you need a very small amount. And yeah, you should get to know your colors a bit. I mean, watercolors, well, actually in both acrylic and watercolors, some paints are transparent and some are opaque. So there are all kinds of ways to test it before you start. For example, you take a piece of white paper and make a thick black line on it, and then just make a sample of your paint and see if the black shows through. If it's completely shows through, then your color is translucent or transparent, and if it's covered a little bit, then there are paints that are semi-opaque, and if you can completely cover it or cover it in a good way, then your color is probably opaque. And of course, you know, with acrylics, if you add a thicker layer, then they get more opaque, and if you add water, they get more translucent or transparent. Yeah, so anyway, the Dina Wakley paints are, I think most of them are opaque. I think the Violet Blackberry is more transparent, but you just have to test it and see. So another thing you want to make sure when you're doing like layers in mixed media is that well, of course it depends on the look you want to get, but in this case I added pink circles on top of green. So you really want to make sure that the first layer is dry before you add the next layer, because you don't want your colors to mix and create mud. When you're using colors that are close on the color wheel, you can get really beautiful mixing shades, but with pink and green, I don't want them to mix. And the last thing I felt like I wanted to add was some more texture, and I went with a stencil from Tim Holtz, and I think it's called Speckles, this stencil, and it's a really fun stencil that can add a lot of texture with very little effort. And I use some molding paste or modeling paste just to add some speckles, and I really like how that looks. And then started the struggle. I won't go into too much detail. You can see it all in the video. This wasn't easy. I started with thickers that came in the kit, and then I decided they came with the embellishment add-on actually, and then I decided I didn't want all that craft and cork on my page. I wanted to keep it lighter and colorful. So I went in a different direction, just using some bits and pieces, and you can see it in the video, all the stages. Yeah, sometimes it can get a little bit frustrating, and sometimes it's hard to cut into papers like I did with this 3x4 card from the Chimel cut apart sheet. But if I know I don't like something, then I rather take the risk and take the risk, and maybe I will like the result better. And if not, then I didn't like it to begin with, so I say go for it. And there are 2 photos on this page. They are from our trip to France last June, and they are from a place called Pont du Gard, and I'm sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of that. It's a beautiful Roman aqueduct, and it has like these double arches. It's really, really, really beautiful. It's one of the, I think, most famous like tourist attractions or things to see in that area in France. I'm pretty sure it's a UNESCO site, but I'll check that just to be sure I don't talk complete nonsense. And yeah, it was really beautiful, and it was a beautiful day, and it was very impressive. And I think I probably said the same thing on in one of my previous layouts, but I think from Pont du Gard this was like our most distant destination, and from that we just turned back and started the kind of long way home, but very beautiful. We drove to France through Italy, and we went back to Austria through Switzerland, which was definitely not the short way, but it was very, very beautiful. And I'll probably have more layouts with some photos from there. And yeah, what can I say? It's all pretty. Italy, France, Switzerland, Austria. There's just so much to see. It's amazing. And yeah, I was pretty sure I'm not gonna make any videos this week because I was supposed to be in Italy, but yeah, things happen, and that did not work out. I'll probably tell about that in another video, because I have some photos of that disaster. But we're all healthy and happy, so that's what matters. And yeah, I'm kind of now starting to make another page while I'm like between recording and editing this video, and it's very hard to decide which kit to use. I also got the September Scraptastic kit yesterday, so I'm a little bit drowning in kits, which is always good. But it's time for some tough choices. So no, like to use this pretty kit or that pretty kit. There are also like so many pretty goodies in the September hip kit, and yeah, the silver lining of my ruined vacation is that I have a little bit more time to scrap. So always look on the bright side of life. Yeah, going into rambling mode here. So yeah, I think things that I want to do besides making more layouts, I think I will make, or I'll try to make, watercolor comparison for the crafter, for the scrapbooker. I am getting a little bit more into watercolors, but also making some stuff that don't necessarily go in my scrapbook albums. But Still, that's the main way that I use my watercolors, and I have a lot of them. So I thought maybe I would do like a video just comparing some. Maybe it'll help some people decide which ones are right for them. Watercolor is one of my favorite things lately, and there are a lot of things out there with very, very different pricing, from very cheap to very expensive. So yeah, so I'm hoping to do that. I think it could be helpful. And besides that, you can find me on the Nicole Jones 911 Facebook page, where I try to publish, like post my layouts and links to my videos when I remember, but I usually hang around there and like other people's layouts. There's lots of very talented women there, and yeah, we're trying to get things done. And I think that's really all I have to say. This video is a bit longer than my usual 10-11 minutes, and I'm feeling it. So before I get too boring, anyone likes to watch Luther? It's a British series and it's very good. I highly recommend it. And here are some still photos of my finished page. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. I wish I could reply every single one, but it's just very time consuming. But I read them all, and I really, it really makes me happy that people enjoy these videos. So bye!